Hello there and welcome to another interesting episode of the interview. Today I am privileged to have a very wonderful and interesting guest. Sorry for starting a little bit behind schedule. We are trying to, resolve some technical glitches. So without further ado, we'll just go ahead with our program. I just want to take this time to introduce my very wonderful guest. Her name is Joy Akut. Joy Akut was born and raised in southern Kaduna, Nigeria. She has a national diploma, the ND, in banking and finance from Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa, and a higher national diploma, HND, from the same institution. Joy has a Bachelor of Science degree in political science from the University of Jos. She also has a Master of Science degree in developmental studies from the Nigeria Defense Academy. Joy has served as a local government consultant with the Clinton Health Access Initiative from 2018 to 2019. She was a special advisor on youth and women, IMC Kaura local government area from 2018 to 2019. Joy has also served as a board member of the Kaduna Electricity and was the vice chairman Kaura local government area from May 2019 to July 2020. Joy is currently a senior special assistant on political affairs to the Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. I am so delighted to have you on the program, Joy.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making time to come. As I always tell our viewers, please, this is going to be another interesting episode of the interview. So I encourage you to actively participate as this discussion continues. So without further ado, we'll just go straight to our discussion. And I want to kickstart this discussion by talking about your vocational choice. You train both as a banker, as a political scientist, and also someone in the developmental studies with the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA. So my first question to you, Joy, is how did you make the leap from banking and finance to political science? What informed that decision? The two disciplines do not seem to correlate. What informed that decision?
Okay. Thank you, Seth, for making out time to have me in this conversation. Since I graduated from the secondary school, I have developed interest in politics. I have tried to indulge in political activities at the grassroots, and so I thought of going to read political science at the university or at the higher level. But I enrolled myself into the IJMB program. I wrote the exams, got the points, but the points were not good enough. And I tried getting admission with those points. I couldn't get into ABU. I couldn't get the admission. And so instead of just wasting time like that, sitting at home doing nothing, I had to just I got myself into the Polytechnic through the Polytechnic JAM. I wrote the JAM and made it. I chose banking and finance. It is also a career. It is also something I could have as a career. So I embarked on that. I graduated from the diploma classes, and then I decided again to give it a try into the IJMB classes, and then I went back, rewrote the IJMB, I got the points, tried again to get admission into ABU, the direct entry, because I got the required points this time around. But since I couldn't get the admission, I had to still go back again to the Polytechnic. I took a part-time studies, which was a weekend program. I attend Friday to Sunday, and then I come back. But after the first year, I still tried getting admission. This time around, I applied University of Jos, and then I got it one hand. So it was at that point that I just decided, since I have wasted 1 year, I have stayed 1 year in the Polytechnic doing my HND program, I just took a decision that I was going to run the two courses at the same time. So that was how I started with the BSc Political Science. My lectures, I usually end my lectures Thursdays because the lectures end Thursdays. And then Friday, I embark on the journey to Nasarawa State and then come back on Sunday, rest. Monday, I start lectures again. That was how I was able to accomplish and achieve the 2 degrees at the same time.
Wow.
So afterwards, I came back, went for my NYSC. But before I graduated from the University of Jos, since I had the interest to join politics and I've been up and doing, we went for the campaign 2014 before my graduation. I joined the campaign team of the Nasiru El-Rufai through Samuela Aran. Because we were close, he moved me to the campaign train. We worked together after the victory of the APC. I was still in school. I went for my service, came back, and then I started politicking with them. Gradually, we were there, getting to know them, getting to be closer to the government by the day, and then they picked interest in me, and then that is how I got myself into the political scene.
So will you say that politics was actually would have been your first choice, not banking and finance?
Yes,
Oh, awesome, awesome. All
politics
right,
was my
I
first
understand.
choice.
The educational system in Nigeria sometimes is not what you want, unfortunately, that you get. There is a general assumption that politics is a dirty game, and it is surprising to hear that a young person will initially want to study politics. So there is this general assumption, and I think it's not just limited to Nigeria. There is this international or general assumption that people have that politics is a game, is a dirty game. How will you respond to that? Will you subscribe to that view that politics is dirty?
No, I will never subscribe to that
All right, enlighten us about that. Why not? Are you with me, Joy?
isn't a dirty game as perceived by those who see it that way. Yes, because it is. I hear you. I'm with you.
All right, can you hear me now?
I'm with
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yes,
All
I
right,
can
so
hear you.
there was a little bit of a network problem. Go ahead, still respond to my question. I didn't get that when you started responding.
Okay, I said politics isn't a dirty game as perceived by those who see it that way. It is only through politics that you get involved in policy making, policy decision, whatever decision the government is making, at least you are there one way or the other. You tend to influence a policy that will go to your favor.
Mm-hmm.
And it is through politics, participation in politics, that you get the scarce resources that are meant for many people, that you try your best to allocate them to wherever you want those resources to be. So politics, politicking and partaking in political activities isn't dirty, except those that want to give themselves out in order to gain favors from other politicians. But if you play it with a free heart, with a motivating heart, and a heart that knows what it wants, you politic very well, and it won't make it look dirty.
So if I hear you well, the politics in and of itself is not dirty, but people that play the game can make it dirty. Is that correct?
Yes, there are people that tends to do the dirty things, like you bribe your way into somebody, and there are things like that. But a lot of people out there are just there. You lobby. If you want to go the right way, you lobby for things. You don't pay for them. You don't bribe for them. You lobby for them. you know how you go about it so that it will get to where you want it to get to.
That's quite true. So my question is, I want us to talk specifically about your political involvement. You know, it is not news that the Nigerian politics or the political sphere has been hijacked predominantly by men, and most of these men are older men. The question is, you are a young woman. How did you penetrate? You had to, overcome two challenges. First, there are not too many women in politics in Nigeria. And secondly, you are young. So how did you overcome these two seeming challenges to penetrate the Nigerian political sphere?
Okay. So in Kaduna State, everyone that knows how the Governor El-Rufai, does his own politicking, he tried to get the youth, the women involved in political activities. Whatever he wants to do, he wants to achieve it through the youth. And he has been talking about leaving a legacy for the youth. He wants them to take over the political scene so that changes would be seen. So it is
Right, she's a little bit frozen there. I hope she...
the privilege that I got through his administration, that I got myself involved in political activities.
All right, Joy is trying to... All right, you're back. You can hear me now, right?
I hear you.
All right, all right. It was a little bit frozen too. We will overcome this and continue to have the conversation. So still talking about your political involvement, tell us a little bit about your role as a vice chairman of Kaura local government. How was that experience like for you?
Yeah, the experience was quite very interesting, because as young as I am, I found myself involving in decision making that affects the generality of the public. Sometimes I go home, sleep, and just go through what the day's activities. Are you there with me?
Yes, I'm here. I'm quite here.
Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes when I go back home, I lie down, think through the day's activities. I realize that I have been able to lend a hand in solving problems, whatever they are. Sometimes I meet with the chiefs, sometimes I meet with the clergies, sometimes I meet with the youths, the women. I tell them, I enlighten them on what is going on, what they should do to make a living. Sometimes I inform them on government policies and how they should go about lobbying for those things to come back to them. And it was
So
very interesting for me, and it has opened my eyes into knowing more about how to go about political activities.
So will you say that Governor El-Rufai, whom you hold in high esteem, not surprisingly, he's your boss, will you say that he influenced your political involvement? Did he play any part in influencing your political involvement?
Very well.
How so?
I first got attracted to Governor El-Rufai when he was the FCT minister. I followed almost all of his activities as a then, even though I was young, but I was following, and then I said, wow, this is the kind of person that I want to be. I want to be bold, I want to be fearless, I want to take decisions and make some things right, even when things are not going right. I want to fix things the way he does his things. And I found out that we somehow share the same temperament with him. He said things the way they are. He doesn't mince words. That is the kind of person that I am. And since then, I took interest in him. And even when he came as the governor, I was just so keen to go closer to him, to learn more again, and to help him achieve whatever he wants to achieve, because I understand these are the kind of traits that he wants in people. So when I moved closer, the first meeting we had with him as the media team in his government, he told us about his policies and why he does what he was doing. He told us so many things that ordinarily we wouldn't have known those things. He said it. He said he's going to take measures into doing everything so that at the long run, people will enjoy those benefits. And then he advised us to get into the political activities, that we should draw closer, that it is only in politics that we get what we want. So he advised us, and then he picked interest in us. He said the women should be given their quotas. The women should not be seen as tools that can be used. He mentioned these things, and since then, my admiration for him increased, and I promised myself that I was going to do anything possible to deliver the way he wants everything to be delivered.
Yeah. So I want us to kind of mirror it down and talk specifically about Governor El-Rufai. Without a doubt, Governor El-Rufai, especially when he was the FCT minister, he was admired by many people. And even as a governor in Kaduna State, he has brought some transformation. We cannot deny that fact, especially just to give an example, the road project that is transforming the city. Needless to say that there have been a lot of controversies surrounding his governance and his style of leadership and some of the things he does. And I want us to kind of mirror down to talk about some of them. For instance, many Southern Kaduna people feel that they have been marginalized and subjugated under the El-Rufai administration. How will you respond to such an allegation?
Well, if the people said they have been marginalized, at least they should bring out the issues where they feel they have been marginalized upon. But me,
do you feel that way? Do you feel that Southern Kaduna people have been marginalized under El-Rufai?
No, Southern Kaduna people have never been marginalized under El-Rufai's administration, even the first tenure and this second tenure.
Can you try to convince us?
Yeah. Yes. The policies, there are many policies. Before the second tenure, he had a primary duty to deliver on healthcare and the education sectors. He took these two as the major areas in which he wants to transform. And all the policies, all the plans to do all of these things affect every local government of the state. It never left any other place untouched. There was a time we went to meet the late Commissioner of Education, late Professor Nock, to confirm on the activities going on because of this very perception. He told us everything, and then he brought out the school renovations and the rehabilitations that they were ongoing as at that time. Southern Kaduna was carried along, and Southern Kaduna had more schools that were renovated and rehabilitated. We were just so surprised to discover that Southern Kaduna got more of the projects that we are taking to the education sector than any other zone.
Really?
Yes. And then when he said he wanted to transform the education still with the primary school teachers, he tried with the primary school teachers. He said they failed. They tested them on an exams, a primary 4 exams. They were tested. Majority of them failed that exams. It wasn't just the Southern Kaduna people that we are taken out of the system. Every local government had teachers that were dismissed as at that time. But the outcry was that Southern Kaduna lost more teachers. We don't know where they got those statistics. The statistics are still there. Everything, the information is still there for everybody to access. Southern Kaduna was never marginalized. The road projects that they did, even as at the first tenure, They had township, they had a program to construct township roads in every local government. Every local government of the state had these township roads. So I don't know where the marginalization now came in. If every local government had the township roads, which started, some are ongoing, some were left halfway, and some were completed. If Southern Kaduna, if there's any place that the Southern Kaduna felt more roads were done to other local government in the northern part of the state and less in the southern part, let them bring it up to him constructively, objectively. He will hear them, and then maybe he will know what is happening there. But what I am telling you now is there is nothing like marginalization. Anything that was done to the northern part of the state was done to the southern part of the state, if not more in the southern part of the state.
Will you say the same thing, aside from physical projects that you are mentioning? Will you say the same thing about appointments? Will you say that there is equal representation of Southern Kaduna people in El-Rufai's government?
Yes.
True.
In his first tenure, the deputy governor was from Southern Kaduna. Yes. The commissioners that were appointed, some of them were from Southern Kaduna. He had 13 commissioners and equal representation, 4 from every region. Every region had equal representation. He had his SAs, his advisors, his assistants, all of them. There is nothing like marginalization. He did everything. And El-Rufai is somebody that has come to say, if these things are done on a local government, so that you will not feel, I don't want it this way, I want to cut down governance, I want to cut down the cost of governance, I want to reduce the cabinet from my own system, so that we'll cut down, we'll use the resources for other things. If El-Rufai is really saying that, and he has said he doesn't want the issue, people lingering on the issue of indigene, I am from this place, I am from this place, you should feel you are from Kaduna State and you should deliver on Kaduna State. If El-Rufai has brought out things like that and have said, this is what I want, I wonder why would people just say, we have been marginalized, we are not giving equal representation, we are not doing we are not doing what. All the people closer to El-Rufai's cabinet are from Southern Kaduna. Key positions in his first administrations, we are all in Southern Kaduna. The Commissioner of Health, the Commissioner of Education, his spokesperson, all of them are from Southern Kaduna. The person that was in charge of the due process is from Southern Kaduna. He is still there in his cabinet. So people more closer to him in the cabinet are from Southern Kaduna. The other divides are not complaining about that. You have these key positions given to Southern Kaduna people. You did not give us. Nobody is complaining about that. I wonder why would Southern Kaduna be seeing things different?
Let me show you some of the comments that some people have been making. Tim Meyaki says, Joy is just one persistent and passionate young politician. She just sticks to her beliefs and downs the consequences, be they controversial or not. But there are people that seem to disagree. For instance, Umar Bature says that he disagrees with you on your view on Southern Kaduna not being marginalized, that you need to go and do your research well. I will allow you to respond to this. And there is also Kefferson. I'm sure you know Stephen Kefferson. He says, I don't know, I will not say the first line, but he said he has counted these lies times without number in his articles and facts. So I want you to respond to some of these comments that I've shown you. How will you respond to, well, of course, Tim is on your side, but Umar and Stephen are saying no. What you're saying, it may not be substantiated.
Okay, if they have contrary views to the project or to any appointment or anything that was lopsided, that they feel Southern Kaduna was marginalized, I would seek them to bring them up, bring the facts up, bring the data, bring the statistics, and Let us recount on them and then see where the marginalization comes in. The facts are there.
Stephen Keverson is saying Muyiwa is actually Yoruba from Southwest. He's not from Southern Kaduna.
Yes, that is the governor's way of doing his things. He even got people from the eastern part of the state, the Igbos, the Ibra, and all of these tribes in his cabinet. Some of the special assistants in his cabinet now are not from Kaduna State. They are not Hausa. They are not indigenous Kaduna State. They are from other states. If he has set a pace like that, this is how he wants his system to run, and he wants to leave a legacy for the young ones to feel they are Nigerian first before any other tribe, before having themselves in.
This is what, so I love the way the interaction is going, and even the comments, because we are having, I can see people that are for Joy and people that are against Joy. For instance, Attila is saying that you are an interesting person, you are an outstanding young woman, and your contributions and developments in politics are great. Let me take that because it covers our faces on the screen. But we also have people, for instance, Emmanuel Junior Zaka is saying that you are playing safe. You are just trying to play safe by not being honest and answering the questions as they ought to be. So it's quite interesting that we're having these disparate responses about your conversation. Still talking about Governor El-Rufai, since you work for him, there have been a lot of violence. There has been a lot of violence in southern Kaduna by the Fulani, which has resulted to a loss of many lives and property. And Governor El-Rufai has made several utterances on national television that many people think we are irresponsible. And some people even go to the extent of saying that some of his utterances actually fueled the violence in southern Kaduna. As a senior special assistant to the governor, and as an indigene of southern Kaduna, what is your stance on this?
Okay. The insecurity is a general and to an extent a global issue today. When Governor El-Rufai came on board the first tenure, he inherited insecurity from the southern part of the state. He inherited insecurity in Birnin-Gwari and other parts of the state like Igabi, Giwa. Those places are insecure, and some parts of the southern Kaduna region. So when he came, he said he wants investors to come around so that they will give them enabling environment to do businesses, so that businesses will thrive in those areas. And then he said he cannot do all of these things. He cannot achieve anything on the economic issues without first curbing insecurity. So when he came, he said he wants to set a committee to look into the problems that southern Kaduna, some parts of southern Kaduna are faced with, which he inherited. And then he said on the Birnin-Gwari aspect, he's going to look into that. So the committee came out with a report and said they discovered killings because the late Governor Yakowa had his committee too, who worked on these issues, and then they brought out a solution, the white paper. So he went ahead and said, his committee went ahead and said, we discovered issues that are there. We discovered people, foreign Fulanis, that are coming in for vengeance. They said those foreign Fulanis had their issues during the 2011 post-election violence when they were on Trans-Saharan movement, that some of them were killed, some of them they lost properties on their way. So they said those foreign Fulanis should be compensated. And aside that report, late Governor Yakowa had a similar thing in the report that was given him. He even sent delegation to Mali to take his condolences and to take his words to those people, to plead with them to stop coming to kill people here, that he has intervened. If there's anything they are going to do, they should reconcile, they should have peace, and then forget about it. So those people gave back words to him and said they have forgotten everything, but they should reach out to other people who are also aggrieved. So there's the issue of the foreign Fulanis there, which El-Rufai inherited, and his committee came out with those reports. They said, compensate the Fulani people, that was the white paper, compensate the foreign Fulani people that are coming for vengeance over what happened to them in 2011, post-election violence, and then compensate, rebuild the weary communities. That was the report the committee came out with. So when El-Rufai started this, he started with the compensation of the foreign Fulanis. We now had some of our people came out to say, they gave it a different narrative to say, El-Rufai is giving his people, his kingsmen, money to still come and kill us. They gave it a different narrative and people took it from that place. Up to date, he has not been able to wipe that narrative from the scene of from the scene of insecurity.
So this is what becomes controversial about this whole thing. I think there are two issues here. First, the fact that the governor will say that he knows these people that are perpetrating violence. For me, I think first it is controversial because if you know them, you are the chief security of the state. You are supposed to protect your citizens. And to say that these people are foreign, they are not Nigerians, allowing people that are not Nigerians to come and kill Nigerians, I don't know how to comprehend that. That is the first controversy. The second controversy is to say you are even going. Okay, you want to respond to that?
Let me respond to that first.
Okay.
Yes, if you believe in anything Africa, ECOMOG, that there's supposed to be a trans-Sahara movement for them, a route for the Fulani headsmen that are going on trans-Sahara movement. If you know there are things like that, there are policies like that before El-Rufai's emergence as the governor, you should appreciate the fact that there is a trans-Sahara movement and Fulani people from other countries must pass through these routes they are going to. That is the first thing that brought about this. And the first, I think, in peace and in reconciliation, peace and conflict reconciliation, the first measures one will have to take is for mediation, advocacy, unless you exhaust all of these things before you use forces of coercion to it. So Governor El-Rufai tried as much as possible to see that he exhausts all of this means. You have to reconcile these people, you have to advocate, you have to mediate between all of these very parties, and then if no success is achieved, then you now start using the forces of coercion. Even when the acting president came as at that time to sit with the communities and the Fulani people here, he said, El-Rufai said, aside the Fulani people, the foreign Fulanis coming to kill people here because of the vengeance they said they will have to come and revenge, there are criminal elements that have hijacked the situations that he was going to deal with them so that peace will be achieved, will be seen in those places. And then he said, there are headers, farmers, issues where you have clashes, and when there are clashes, you don't intervene on time. Maybe when a header destroy your farm crops, and then you quickly go to kill that farmer, the farmer come back for reprisal, it will be very, very difficult for him to intervene at that period. So he was saying the harder farmer clashes should be handled very well by the traditional institutions. They shouldn't allow things to go out of hand before they handle all of those things. And if we hear another person coming to say it is an agenda that was said for the Southern Kaduna people to be eradicated from the face of the world, that is a controversial situation that you are bringing again. And if you say, some of them are saying it is, what do they call it? They said they want to wipe Southern Kaduna, that it is annihilation, which is not true. When I was serving in the local government, we had several cases between the Fulani and the natives. We will see issues like this, try to solve those issues, and then sometimes we succeed in solving those issues, and sometimes the people will say they must revenge. A revenge will take place, and a counter reprisal will come again. And then this is how you keep having these situations. But when you go, you have some people again that will go to say, no, it is the government that are responsible for coming to kill your people. They are bringing controversial issues, which will not be handled well again by the government.
So some of the people listening are saying, are pointing to you that the Agway led General Agway led. All right, I just lost Joy. I hope she will be back so that we'll continue this discussion. The discussion is really getting interesting. I hope she didn't do that deliberately. I pray that she will come back so that we will continue with this particular discussion, because there are a lot of issues that I want to ask her, especially about Governor El-Rufai and some of the things that are happening in Southern Kaduna. So for some of you that are commenting, please keep the comments coming. I pray that Joy comes back so that this discussion progresses. So just keep the comments coming. I can see all of you: Emmanuel Junior Zeka, Stephen Jefferson, and Umar Bature. I can see all your comments are coming. So thank you so much for commenting so far. Let's pray hard that Joy, that was a little bit abrupt. Let's pray that she comes back so that we'll continue with this discussion. But it's been quite interesting to ask some of the questions that we want to ask about the El-Rufai-led administration in Southern Kaduna. I still have a lot of things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about, not just the issue of violence. I want to also talk about, tackling the insecurity challenges, the traditional rulers, and all kinds of things. So I pray that Joy is back. Joy, if you can see me, I am waiting for you, and I believe other people are eagerly waiting for you to come back so that we'll continue with this discussion. Okay, but just keep your comments coming, and I pray she comes back. Just keep your comments coming so that we'll continue with this discussion. Okay. Somebody is saying that she will not come back. Let's be optimistic that she will. Let's be optimistic. We had a lot of discussions with her prior to this interview, so I pray she comes back. But if she doesn't, at least we have talked about a few things. But most of the things I wanted to talk about are not yet here. I haven't yet talked about them. So, but thank you so much for commenting. And let me try to check with Joy. I will get back to you. If she will be back, I will let you know. Yes. All right, let me try to do something, and let me try to do this. Stephen Jefferson, I hope you are still waiting there. Let me try to send you a link. I know we didn't prepare this, but let me try to send you a link and see whether you will be able to join me to have like some discussion, maybe to get a response from what Joy has said. So I'm sending you, Stephen Jefferson, I'm sending you a link right now to your WhatsApp. Check that out and try to be part of this conversation. Okay. So right now I am sending Stephen Jefferson the link. It doesn't look like I sent Joy some messages. She hasn't responded. So Stephen Jefferson, check your WhatsApp and join me in the conversation if you can right now, because this conversation, we can't just end it this abruptly. Okay. Try to join me. I have already sent you the link for this. I think this will work this time. Or anyone that wants to join the conversation, just let me know. If you want to join the conversation as a response to Joy, Emmanuel Junior, Zaka, or any one of you that is there, well, some of you, I don't have your number, but I wouldn't want to put the link here in the public. So Emmanuel Junior, Zaka, or Omar Bature, or Jerry Swamsidi, or Tim Meyaki, anyone that is watching, if you want to be part of this conversation and respond to some of the things that Joy has said, I think that will make it interesting. This is a little bit abrupt, but let's do that. Let's do that and finish up the conversation. Joy doesn't seem to be, she doesn't indicate as if she is planning to come back, at least for now. Yeah, but because some of the issues I wanted to talk with Joy about, if I can have anyone join the conversation. Oh, Joy is back actually. So let's see. Hey, Joy.
Hello.
I thought we have lost you. I was already making some arrangements. All right. Yeah, so the conversation was getting interesting when we lost you. I still have quite a number of questions I want to ask you, especially about Governor El-Rufai. And, there have been the issue of insecurity in Southern Kaduna, especially. You were talking about, how the Fulani and the natives, there are clashes. The governor has been trying to intervene, and somebody is raising the question. Somebody is saying that it doesn't look like the governor actually listened to the recommendations by the Agway-led committee. How will you respond to that?
Was there anything the person feel was left out from the recommendations? Let him say it. Let me hear.
All right. So let me seek your permission before I do this. All right. There is Stephen Jefferson. Will you want me to bring him to the conversation, to include him here so that we can have this conversation together?
It's okay.
Okay. So I'm bringing in Stephen Jefferson. Stephen Jefferson, all you need to do is to put on your, if you can put your camera, just put your camera on. So that I can add you to the conversation. This is going to get very interesting. So Stephen, if you can hear me, just put on your camera so I can put your camera and make sure you are unmuted. So I'll be able to add you to the conversation. Can you hear me? Can you speak a little bit? Hi, Stephen. Hi, Stephen. All right. It looks like Stephen is struggling. So can you respond to that? You were saying you don't know that that part of the conversation, that part of the Agway-led committee, you don't know anything that was not implemented. Is that correct? Hi, Joy. You're kind of frozen right now. Hi, Joy. We're having some internet challenges there. Please, let's keep on with this conversation. It's actually getting interesting. And for some of you that are making comments, please keep the comments coming. As soon as Joy is able to rectify the problem with connection, we'll continue with the discussion. Stephen Jefferson, I think you tried. It didn't work. Jerry Swamp City, I can see your comment. You are saying that we are a marginalized people and this government has done nothing to protect our peoples. These are some of the questions that we want Joy to answer. And yeah, so let's see. Joy, if you can see me, if you will be able to be back, and if you can come back so that we'll continue with the discussion, I will appreciate that. Hey, AJ, I can see your comment. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for this comment. Where's Joy? All right, there have been quite interesting comments about some of the things that Joy has been saying. I mean, to some extent, we will understand. She's working for her boss. I'm not in any way insinuating that what she's saying is not factual. We're just trying to get the facts out there by asking the right questions. When we ask the right questions, we'll be able to get the answers.
Let me reduce your volume. No thanks.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I just can't see you very well, but I can hear you.
Yeah, like I told you earlier, I'm on transit. So,
okay.
Of course, yes, the video is going to be bad and there may be one or two fluctuations.
Yeah, so do you want to respond to what Joy has said so far?
Yes, exactly. Now, you see, General Agwe in 2017 came out and debunked some of those lies. Now, he said his committee never recommended payment of compensation to one party, but his committee recommended that all parties that lost properties, lives, or livestock during the post-election violence should be compensated. And the question is, why not compensate all parties? Why travel to foreign countries to compensate terrorists? I call them terrorists because these are people that have taken laws into their hands. Reprisals
Yes, having some technical glitches there. And hi, Stephen. All right, let me bring back Joy.
So sorry about my phone.
It's the network. I understand. So a while ago, Stephen Jefferson was saying that the Agwet-led committee gave some recommendations. Why will the governor go ahead and compensate foreigners that are not Nigerians? So that was the question. Do you want to respond to Stephen?
Hello.
Yeah, Joy is here. I want Joy to respond to what you said earlier. Joy, do you want to respond to him?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, Joy is speaking. Let Joy respond first. Yes, go ahead, Joy.
Okay, the Agwe committee recommended the foreign Fulani to be compensated, and the communities that were affected should also be compensated, should also be reviewed. Is there anything again that he wants to add to it? Maybe let me know what the committee had that I am not saying.
Oh, all right. Did you hear that, Stephen? Do you want to respond to Joy? Stephen is kind of frozen. Okay, so I will continue with the discussion with Joy because we still have some few things that we need to talk about that we need to cover. So still talking about this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. I've heard what you express. You are trying to say that the governor, there is the relationship between the Fulani, the foreign Fulanis, and the natives is kind of intricate. So the governor is trying to play his cards well so that that is tackled. There are still a lot of controversies about this. I don't believe that we can finish that in one conversation. Okay, so I want to kind of talk about something that is connected to this, but it's a little bit different, which is the issue of kidnappings. There have been a lot of kidnappings in Kaduna State and in Nigeria as a whole. And even your former boss in the local government was kidnapped. What is the governor doing about the kidnappings that are going on in Kaduna State?
Okay. Security, issue of security lies with the federal government. And we know that the governor has tried his best to see that he liaises with the federal government to help him with troops that will curb the insecurity that is ongoing. We have seen improvement now with the way the kidnappings were compared to the way the kidnappings were ongoing previously. We have seen troops foiling attempts by the kidnappers. We have seen troops going to fight them, kill them. We have seen them destroy their
All right, Joy is we have lost Joy. Let me see whether hey Stephen, do you have something to say? Hey Stephen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
I can hear you now.
If Joy comes back, since this is the program I'm featuring her, if she comes back, I will kind of put you in the background and talk with her. But go ahead.
Okay. I was responding to what she said about the Agwai-led committee before I went off.
Okay.
Now, the recommendation of that committee was that all parties should be compensated. And the questions people like myself are asking is that, why did the government choose to compensate just one party? Since 2015, not a single house has been rebuilt by the state government. So what implementation is it doing? But he went to foreign countries to pay militias compensation. Agwai came out himself. I shared a link on your Facebook comment. Okay, are you still with me? I shared a link on your. Yes, I shared a link when General Agwai came out and debunked that lie that his committee never recommended that foreign militias alone should be compensated. And the government never responded to him because they knew what the committee recommended. So trying to say that it was the former governor or the late governor that set up a committee that recommended payment of compensation, these are lies from the pit of hell, because they didn't do what the committee recommended. The committee said all parties, houses were burnt in Southern Kaduna, communities were burnt. Have they rebuilt any? No. Now, on the issue of kidnapping, I heard Joy saying that there's been improvement. The month of November, I've been able to do a statistics. The month of November will go down in history as the month with the highest number of kidnapping operations in Kaduna. Almost every day, the week that ended yesterday, almost every day, people are being kidnapped or killed on that road. So if she's saying there's improvement, I don't understand. What kind of improvement is that? Like between Monday last week and yesterday, almost every day, I narrowly escaped kidnapping on that road last Monday. I myself. The moment I pass, it happened. So what's she talking about? Now, all this crap that the government is doing its best is now. Last week, the defense headquarters said they carry out area bombardment of bandit location. The question is, if you have bombarded their location, how comes they resurface almost immediately on the same point and still carry out their nefarious act? So I think there's no sincerity of purpose. We keep hearing lies, we keep seeing pictures, we keep hearing press statement that they are doing this, they are doing that, but these guys are unmovable. They are still carrying out their evil activities.
How will you respond? How will you respond to Joy? Joy said here, she gave some facts that the governor's appointments, especially that he does not hate, so to speak, the people of Southern Kaduna, because you can see it in the way he does his appointments, in the way he tries to make there is equity, so to speak, what Joy has been saying. How will you respond to that?
Even Joy herself knows deep inside her that she's not being sincere. She knows. She knows. if you look at the structure in the state presently, from the governor, the deputy governor is not an appointment. It's like an agreement parties have that, hey, the governor is coming from this region, the deputy should come from the other region. It's more like an agreement.
Yeah, Emmanuel Junior Zaka also pointed that out in his comment. Yeah,
it's not an appointment. He didn't do us any favor by picking the woman. It's more of a political arrangement. Now, look at his cabinet. The SSG, the minister from the states at the federal level, many other key positions at the federal level. Now, between 1999 and 2015, sir, even when the PDP were producing the governors, now, the northern part of Kaduna were always in the opposition. You get, but despite that, the PDP government then tried to make sure that at least they balance their appointment. But this time around, the minister that was appointed before, who was eventually moved to the UN, was still from the north. The current minister of finance, same thing. So just look at it. Joy knows deep inside her that she's not being sincere. The marginalization is very clear. Like even a blind person could feel it. I can mention all the key positions in the state. They are occupied by people from either the northern part or the central part of the state, which is wrong. It has never been this bad before.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for your comment. At least today I was able to see you. You know, we've been trying to have this conversation with you, and it hasn't worked, which we will still have. Definitely, we will have, you and me will have our own conversation in the interview in the next coming days. You have been very busy lately. We have not been able to achieve that, but thank you. People have been making comments. Unfortunately, Joy is not here to respond to your many comments by Jerry Swamsidi, and so I wouldn't go ahead to read the comments here since the person I'm officially interviewing is not here. Oh, Joy is here. Joy is back. Let's see. Hi, Joy.
Hello.
You are back.
Very poor.
I understand. We encounter some of that so I want you to have, I know this is, I need to apologize to you. I didn't prepare you for this, bringing another person. This is your own, this is my interview with you. But Stephen Jefferson, do you want to ask? No, don't use strong language to attack, but do you want to ask Joy to clarify something?
Yes, I want Joy to clarify something, because she was talking about the insecurity along the Kaduna-Abuja Express Road, or the state generally. She said there's improvement. I challenge her. In the month of November, like I said earlier, the frequency of attacks and abduction on that road in November, okay, it has never been this bad. Like November was the worst month in terms of frequency. The week that ended yesterday, every day, there was an attack on that road and people were kidnapped. I said myself narrowly escaped being kidnapped on Monday. So let her counter it. November was the worst month in terms of frequency. As we speak now, I have friends whose relatives are still in the bush. They are negotiating on how to pay ransom. So what improvement are we talking about? Troops are coming. What are they doing? They keep saying they've bombarded their location, but these guys are still resurfacing and are still carrying out their evil activities. If you say you've bombarded their location, let's see results. How many bandits location do we have that you keep bombarding the same place and they keep resurfacing and still carrying out their activities?
Okay, let's allow Joy to respond.
Okay. Yes, he said the month of November was worst hit with the kidnappings. But the month of September, we experienced a lot of fuel.
Go ahead, Joy.
I'm not expecting.
Go ahead, Joy.
Okay, but at the same time, We know when the battle is faced now, when the security are facing the kidnappers, we know there's supposed to be a revolt by the kidnappers. Maybe because of how they have been making attempts to kill them, those kidnappers are aggressive by the day. But we have still seen issues of foiling of these kidnappings. Maybe if not for the effort of the security personnel, maybe the kidnappings would have been worse than compared to the way he is saying it. But I know the security are doing their best. We know they have dissolved their camps. Some of the camps, it is there in the news. We know there are arrests ongoing as at present. Even at the pit of it, we know they have killed a lot of people, and we know so many people have been saved, even though some have been kidnapped still, but some have also been saved.
Oh, I want you to respond to what Bartholomew said. Bartholomew wants to know why is the throne of Adara still vacant?
This issue lies with the governor. Maybe he's still in the process of selecting. It still lies with him.
All right, so that is your response. Okay, so I still want us to cover a little bit even before we go. So we have talked about security. We have talked about, the violence and the governor's compensations and some of his utterances. Let me ask you frankly, Joy, do you think that Governor El-Rufai, some of his utterances, whether he tweets or he goes to channels television or to some national television, some of the things he says, do you think those are helpful?
Utterances, can you give me an example of the utterances he makes?
Some of the utterances he makes are a little bit inciting. For instance, I watched one of his interviews on channels television, and he was talking about the Southern Kaduna, the way he was berating the Southern Kaduna people, saying that they sell, and he was especially talking about these Fulani people that he wanted to compensate, or that he wants to compensate, that a lot of injustice has been done to these foreign Fulanis, that they need to be compensated. And you keep asking the question, who needs to be compensated? Is it the person that has been, is it the Southern Kaduna citizen who has lost brothers and sisters or parents or houses, or is this foreigners that are supposed to be compensated? And a lot of people, I think he drew a lot of criticism from that. Don't you think those utterances are unguarded and uncalled for?
No, I think the utterances are not unguided, because if a report from a committee that was set is saying compensate the foreign Fulani people who we discovered come for what they call vengeance, revenge, and then you rebuild the communities, which one will you first do? I think the compensation of those people that are coming to kill the people should be done first before the communities are now rebuilt. So if you don't compensate those people to stop coming to kill, how can you rebuild the community? So these are the issues that are ongoing now. That is why we call it a peace process. He has always suggested that peace, because the security reports back to him what they discover in that area.
All right, I'm still with Joy. I'm still having this interview with Joy. There are still quite a number of questions, not many that I still want to ask Joy, but it's been quite interesting. For Stephen Jefferson, thank you for just, for picking in and for making contribution to this discussion, though I didn't inform you beforehand. So Joy, if you can see me, if you can still come back so that we'll try to wrap up, I still want to ask you some questions about APC and also a few other questions about the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. So if you can come back, I will be able to continue with this discussion. Okay, but I can see Julius Miyaki. Thank you so much for your comment. And Emmanuel Junior Zaka, you have said a lot. And also Jerry Swamsidi. We may not be able to respond to all of these questions or some of the points that you're making, but I really appreciate just keep the comments coming. If you still have any question that you want to ask Joy directly, you just feel free to put that in the comment section. I will be praying hard that Joy will be able, that Joy will come back so that we will try to wrap up this conversation. But I really appreciate you for taking time to be part of this. Yeah, but Amos, I can see your question. Yeah, so I will not be able to answer your question. I wish Joy we're here to kind of answer your question. I'll give you a couple of minutes to see if Joy is able to come back, so that, because some of these things you are talking about, sometimes we just talk past each other, right? Somebody goes to social media and they post something and somebody comments and, we just talk past each other. I think it's high time that we began to have, it's high time to talk about issues intellectually, to address issues as they are, instead of just bedeviling one another and talking in such a way that we are not understood. So I think these conversations are very important. As I have been doing on the interview, I bring guests. I try to bring people from different views, not just people that align to a particular or subscribe to a particular political or religious view or anything. We need to just there are a lot of problems in our country, Nigeria, that we need to be talking about. And sometimes we don't talk about them. All we do is bedevil one another. All we do is, or at least talk past one another. So some of these intellectual conversations, that was why I started this program, the interview, to just have conversations with people, intellectual conversations. And so far it has been fruitful. Some of you that are commenting here, Emmanuel Junior Zaka, Tim Meyaki, I have also interviewed you. In case you haven't seen my interview with Emmanuel Junior Zaka or Tim Meyaki, please check this Facebook page if you are watching from YouTube. And by the way, some of you that use YouTube, the interview is now on YouTube. This is streaming live on YouTube. So if you prefer YouTube to Facebook, you can check the interview on YouTube. All the interviews, the previous interviews, on YouTube. Looks like Joy is not coming back. I probably will need to wrap it up here, but I want to just take this time to appreciate all of you. I do this every Saturday and every Sunday. So on Saturday, I'll be bringing another interesting guest. It's usually the same time. I'll be bringing another interesting guest to talk about issues, and I bet you he's going to be a very interesting guest. And the same thing will happen next week, Sunday. I'll be bringing another interesting guest to talk about different issues that are affecting us. And this is not just limited to Nigeria, and it's not just limited to young people. I bring all kinds of people. So once again, thank you so much for joining the interview today. It has been a very fruitful time, though we were not able to finish our conversation, but I want to take this time to thank Joy. Thank you so much, Joy, for making time to be part of the interview. I really appreciate that. Despite all the network problems, you really tried to make it. So I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you that contributed to the discussion. Until I come your way next time with another interesting episode of the interview, enjoy the rest of your week, and bye for now.